where business becomes show business. Catch the show on weekdays at 8 a.m. and also learn more about the show over at TampaBayRadio.com, and also connect with me on all the social networking sites, Facebook.com/ThatBusinessShow, and also I'm over on Twitter on the handle Jamie_Meloni, and also the show is up on iTunes as well. Just search for That Business Show. It's time now for the Remodeler's Corner with regular expert contributor Jim Yeager of Yeager & Company, a third-generation flooring and general contracting firm based up in Odessa. And so, Jim, you're with your plumber today, Charlie Palaveda. Welcome to the show.
Thank you, Jamie. Thanks for having us. And I brought Charlie along today to talk a little bit about, over the last few times that we've done the show, about the different processes in remodeling. And one of the most important things where we do a lot of kitchen and bath remodels is plumbing and electrical. So today we brought Charlie to discuss some different things, relative to the plumbing. And
I think Charlie's a little bit well known about on the radio and stuff. He came in the studio this morning, and Jack Harris and Ted Webb up there in 970, they all knew him and everything. So go and grab the mic there, Charlie. Tell us a little bit more about yourself.
Hey, good morning. This is Charlie, the Christian capitalist conservative plumber. And for that, I apologize to no one. You know what? It's another great day to be alive in America. It's a good day to be dead if you're a terrorist. Kill them when you can.
Now, you were telling me you've been banned from a few radio shows, and Jim didn't tell me this up front. He said, I just got this great character, Charlie, that's going to be coming in your radio show today. So hopefully Stephen behind the glass has got the delay going here, just in case you get a little off topic here. But, tell me a little bit more about your radio background here.
No, well, I like to espouse my Christian capitalist conservative values. I'm politically incorrect, but you know what? Hey, we have that right in this country to do that, and I thank the Lord Jesus Christ for another day. And let me tell you what, I'm counting on Jesus. I'm certainly not counting on Buddha, Muhammad, or Obama. Thank you, Jesus, for another day. Well, anyway, let me tell you what, I'm just a regular guy, Marine Corps veteran. Before I was Charlie the plumber, I was Charlie the Marine. Like I tell people, hell, I'm still Charlie the Marine. Once a Marine, always a Marine. If the Marine Corps needs a plumber that can shoot, they can always call me back. Hoorah. Hey, Jim Yeager & Company. Jim's a Marine Corps veteran, a Vietnam veteran, another great American. His brother Bud that works with him, he's another Vietnam combat Marine veteran. And you know what? I give my hats off to all the veterans out there. I salute them. That's one thing I take very seriously. God bless all of our veterans. And today's a tough time to be in the military. And like they say, guys, freedom is not for free. But getting back to Yeager & Company, let me tell you what, I've been a master plumber for 21 years. And, you learn stuff all the time. I mean, we always have new products coming out. We try to stay up on top of all the products, and doing some work with Yeager in this last year. And let me tell you what, the type of work they do is impeccable. They do the high-end remodeling. They do the most beautiful floors and bathrooms, and so we try to give the customer the best quality product. So, we stay up on top of all the new technology, and, we try to do every bathroom right and try to make every customer happy. And
now, as a master plumber, I know we're just in the news today with it being cold and everything. We got to worry about freezing pipes and busted pipes a little bit. That's topical right now. Tell me a little bit about what people need to know with regards to winterizations and freezing pipes.
Well, down south it's not too bad, but every once in a while we get frozen pipes when we get these hard freezes, which is good for us because it's good for a service call. Now up north they got different codes because it's that global warming up there is just killing them. Well, anyway, you know what? I bet they wish they were having a little bit of more global warming. But you know what? Yeah, the freeze up there, they'll break the pipes. You have certain codes up north that you don't have down here. You have to, insulate the pipe much better. You have to bury it at a certain depth. Down here, you know what? And when you have these hard freezes, every once in a while you have to go out there and protect your pipes. You may want to leave your water dripping a little bit if we're going to have a hard freeze. Like tonight, we may have a hard freeze. So if you just leave your water dripping at one of the faucets slightly, it keeps the water going through the pipes, and chances of having a frozen pipe that swells up and bursts are going to be a lot less. But And if you do have a problem, hey, just call Charlie the Plumber, charlietheplumber.com, Palavita Plumbing.
Now, I got to ask, I was asking you, I just met you today and everything, and, you screaming professional wrestler at me, obviously. So tell me about your wrestling background.
Well, even before that, being in the Marine Corps, I tell you what, my drill instructors, this is how they got their points across. And to me, I've always had that type of A-type personality, good or bad, but you know what? They got their point across a certain way, and this is just me. You know what? I've always been a competitor. I've always liked to compete, whether I'm wrestling, whether I'm boxing, whether I'm doing the MMA. It doesn't matter. It's what I am. And I was like this before I went in the Marine Corps. The Marine Corps just kind of like accentuated everything. And when I wrestled professionally, I just carried on through that short career that I had. But let me tell you what, that was the most fun thing I ever did, getting in front of a crowd of people, putting on a good show, slamming the other guys, being slammed around, And let me tell you what, people say it's fake, but, it might be choreographed. But let me tell you what, the bumps, the bruises, and the injuries are for real. And these are some of the biggest, toughest guys out there. And let me tell you what, some of these guys are so big, if they fell on you wrong, they would kill you.
Yeah, no, I grew up a huge professional wrestling fan. And, I mean, it's choreographed, but let me ask you this. When you get in the ring, you haven't pre-planned the match. You pre-planned the finish and the spots, but you're in there kind of freestyling, right? So it's not like you've, choreographed the entire match, correct?
No, that's correct. And let me tell you what, I've been in situations where push comes to shove, and some of these guys, something goes wrong, and it turns out to be a fight. Let me tell you what, if you can't handle yourself, you have no business being out there. And if you get beat up and go home with a black eye or a busted jaw, it's like, oh, well, you wanted to be a professional wrestler. And I've had it happen to me. And let me tell you what, I beat guys up in the ring, too, when they try to hurt me. But most of the time, it's professional. You try to protect the other guy, but every once in a while, you get a jerk out there that tries to hurt you. And you know what? And if you're a pansy, you have no business being out there. Let me tell you what. It takes a big set of cojones to get out there to do this. That's something that's
it's a tough business. I mean, I research and look at it a lot, because I grew up with it, and I kind of like to read behind the scenes and what goes on and everything. How did you get into the wrestling business? I mean, how did you just show up one day to a school, or did you just somebody say, "Hey, you should try this out"? Tell me, how did you get into it?
Well, growing up here in Tampa, we have a strong history of professional wrestling with Gordon Soley and Dusty Rhodes, the Briscoe brothers, Dory Funk Jr. and his brother, and you know what? There's a big. I grew up watching wrestling, and it was just something I always wanted to do. I was thinking, hey, that's pretty cool, and let me tell you what it is, and it's a lot of fun. It's a tough business. It's very competitive. These guys are wrestling, 4, 5, 6, 7 times a week. And match after match, bump after bump, it takes a toll on the body. But it is a lot of fun. It's a lot of these guys that do so much traveling. I've had a lot of my friends get hurt through their travels. We used to do a lot of driving. The guys nowadays for the WWE, they take a lot of plane flights. And, it's a tough business. And, chances of getting in there to the top are slim and none, just about. But somebody has to do it. And my buddy Steve Kern, he had a school here in Tampa, which is in Orlando now. He's trained all the wrestlers that are in the WWE right now.
Steve Kern, he was Doink the Clown, wasn't he?
Yes, he was. Yeah. He was Skinner. Steve Kern, he's a great American. Let me tell you what about his father, Colonel Richard Kern. He was a POW in 2 wars. He was shot down at the end of World War II. He's a POW for almost a year. In Vietnam, he was the first Phantom F-4 pilot to be shot down by a surface-to-air missile via the old Soviet Union. He spent 7.5 years in a POW camp in Vietnam. And I had a chance to meet this man and to know him. He never really talked about what he went through, but he spent time at the Hanoi Hilton with John McCain and a bunch of other great Americans. And I just wish I had a chance to really thank him for what he did for our country, because he never really talked about it. But for the short period of time I had a chance to know his father, I cherish that. And I want to shout out to my brother Steve Kern. Hey, Steve, I love you, brother. And I'll be talking to you soon. And
Now, you're both, you and Jim are both Marines and stuff. Tell me a little bit about your service. When did you serve and some experiences overseas?
Well, I'll let Jim talk about some of his first here. Jim, go ahead and talk about it.
Well, I went in 1973, and right after boot camp and infantry training, went to Vietnam, at the end of Vietnam, to evacuate Vietnam, and did some tours over in the Mediterranean, and first evacuations of Lebanon, and pretty much just out at sea with our brothers in the Navy for the most of the time that I was in. Very, very little time in the United States.
Yeah, and I'd like to, of course, thank you and Charlie for the service to our country. I have the utmost respect for all servicemen and women, and also, proud to announce, my stepson is, just enrolled in the Navy, so I'm very proud about that. You had an interesting acronym. What Charlie, tell me what a Marine stands for.
Yeah, a buddy of mine, a Navy buddy of mine. See, we're Department of the Navy, right? But Marines, we're the men's department. but anyway, a Navy brother of mine told me, he says, you know what Marine stands for? I started thinking, I says, no, what does Marine stand for? He says, my ass rides in Navy equipment. I'm thinking, hey, those guys are great. They take us wherever we got to go to fight. But you know what? We're a great tag team. If you want to have a little wrestling analogy, nobody does it better than the Marines and the Navy. But when I went in after high school, right out of high school, it was during the Cold War. Jimmy Carter was the president, and I was stationed up at Camp Lejeune, North Carolina, which is the world's largest amphibious training base, by the way. And what had happened, they'd just taken our embassy over in Iran, and our Marine Corps brothers, they're the embassy guards, and as being our brothers are over there being held captive, we're all gung-ho. We want to go over there and get them out and stomp Iranians' guts out. Well, anyway, we were packed up, ready to go twice, and Carter made us stand down. And but the day that Ronald Reagan came into office, they let the hostages go. God bless Ronald Reagan, too. I love that man. God rest his soul. But I never went overseas. I stayed stateside. It was during the so-called Cold War, but hey, we were ready to go. We had our guns, our bags packed, Alice packs ready. We were ready to go get the hostages, but it never happened.
Well, again, thank you both for the service to our country. I have the utmost respect for you both, and for all the other servicemen and women out there serving in our military. I got to take a quick break, but if you're just tuning in, you've been listening to That Business Show with Jamie Meloni, where business becomes show business. Tampa Bay weather is a roof killer. That's why when getting your roof done, you want it done right. Hi, I'm Jamie Meloni of the Jamie Meloni Real Estate Show. When considering a new roof or repair, talk to Westfall Roofing. They've been installing high-quality roofs in Tampa Bay for over 25 years. Get a free, no-obligation estimate by calling 855-99-ROOFING. Find out what already 15,000 satisfied customers already know. Call now, 855-99-ROOFING. That's 855-99-ROOFING.
Bud Spriggs and Movement Mortgage want you to experience the thrill of one-day underwriting and the comfort in knowing your loans will be clear to close in record time. While the competition looks to a lost closing date, Bud Spriggs and Movement Mortgage focus on their 12-day clear to close. They do this by utilizing their world-class operations staff to underwrite your loan within 6 hours, process your loan in 12 days, and have your loan closed in time. Underwritten in 6 hours, cleared to close in 12 days. Bud Spriggs and Movement Mortgage. Are you in need of new flooring or ready to tackle that home remodeling project? Then contact Yeager Company Incorporated, a family-owned, state-certified general contracting business with over 70 years of experience and the recipient of the Angie's List Super Service Award for the last 8 years in multiple categories. Yeager Company comes to you with their shop-at-home flooring sales service, and their hardwood flooring refinishing is the very best in the Bay. Kitchen and bath design featuring American-made, well-born cabinets, and all work is done by employees, not subcontractors. Learn more at YeagerFlooring.com. In the market for a reverse mortgage? Contact Access Reverse, a local company with personalized service in the Bay Area. Call them at 727-347-0305 or visit AccessReverse.com for a no-cost, no-obligation consultation. They'll come to your home and speak with you about the best options for your reverse mortgage. Plus, they offer the lowest closing costs. Don't just get a reverse mortgage. Get the right reverse mortgage with Access Reverse. Visit accessreverse.com. NMLS number 4566.
This report is brought to you by iHeartMedia.
Looking for a way to increase your business? Ever thought about advertising on radio? iHeartMedia can customize a campaign to meet your specific needs. Call 844-BUY-RADIO. That's 844-BUY-RADIO. Or go to iHeartMedia.com.
From the Bright House Network's Traffic Center.
Still seeing a very slow ride northbound on 275 across the Howard Franklin into Lois Avenue. Watch out for a crash reported on Hillsborough Avenue at Halifax Drive, and we have a serious crash in Pinellas now on Forest Lakes at Tampa Road. See traffic problems? Call the injury firm of Abrahamson and Uterwick. Hillsborough Traffic Tip Line 866-545-9595.
Windy, sunny, but chilly today. A high of only 53. There is a wind chill advisory until 11 o'clock this morning. Clear and cold tonight with a low of 31. There's a freeze warning and a wind chill advisory. Tomorrow, sunny, but still chilly. A high of 57.
You're listening to That Business Show with Jamie Meloni on 1250 Wins WHNZ. Once again, here's your host, Jamie Meloni.
We're back, everybody, into That Business Show with Jamie Meloni, where business becomes show business. Catch my show on here weekdays at 8 a.m. and also learn more about the show over at TampaBayRadio.com. And find me over at iTunes and all the social media sites, including Facebook.com/That Business Show. And over on Twitter, I'm under Jamie_Meloni. Currently talk with Jim Yeager and Charlie Palaveda of Yeager and Company on the Remodeler's Corner, a weekly segment every Thursdays at 8:30. And so we're talking, about the, Charlie's, military life and wrestling life. But let's touch on a little bit about, the remodeling business and stuff. And you're talking about the tankless water heaters and some of the benefits and also disadvantages of the tankless water heaters that we're hearing so much more about today.
Yes, the tankless water heaters, the technology has changed over the years. When they first came out, the electric ones, they did have inherent problems with them, but as technology has progressed, they've gotten much better. The ones that run off the natural gas are probably the very best. Now, when a person wants to purchase one of these, I suggest that they do their homework. They can look up the different manufacturers. That way they can make an informed, intelligent decision. And like I said, a lot of people are going with these units because they're so much smaller. They take up a lot less space. And I think, a lot of cases might be a good fit for a lot of people.
Do you recommend the tankless water heaters versus the traditional tank heaters, or what?
I do in certain cases. I mean, the big tanks are not going to go away anytime soon. But for people that have natural gas, I highly recommend it. I think the ones with the natural gas, they work the best. And like I said, when people want to go out and purchase one of these, that they can do their homework. Now, the electrical ones, one of the things about the electricals, usually the electrical wires have to be upgraded because they do use a lot of voltage. So that's something to take into consideration.
Yeah, I've just in talking to people, a lot of them say the electric ones are not as efficient. If you have a number of people in the house, that they don't heat up the water quickly enough. But the gas ones, they seem to perform well. Is this?
Yes, especially the natural gas. Even the LP ones, they're good, but natural gas is just cheaper. So that would, in my professional opinion, be the way to go.
What's the difference in cost between a tankless system and the traditional system? Tell me a little bit about that.
They vary in price, but the tankless water heaters are probably a little bit more expensive on the average. And the big thing is if you have to upgrade your electrical, that will increase the cost as well. So every case is different. That's why every certain installation has to be evaluated, and that way to see if it's going to be cost effective for the customer.
Now, there's also ways to people need to know, or things people need to know about their tank water heater system as far as the maintenance and stuff. Talk to me a little bit about ways to maintain your water heater.
Certainly. Now, they should be drained once a year, and to do this properly, first of all, before you drain it, you actually need to turn off the electrical, because once you drain the sediment at the bottom, if you drain the water out of the tank completely, if you do not turn off the electrical, it'll burn up the elements. So there's a a certain procedure you have to follow to where you don't destroy your water heater. And besides that, doing it once a year, it'll help maintain the life.
I know I drained my water heater there recently, and there was just all kinds of just sediment and stuff that comes out of them and stuff. And this is due in large part to the hard water and stuff that we have in Florida and stuff. So talk a little bit about the ways to kind of keep the water quality better inside your home, hard water versus soft water systems.
Sure, certainly. Myself, I have a water softening system with I'm on a well also. I have a chlorinator to where I have a little water processing plant that cleans up the water and before it goes into my house. But now these water heaters, I tell you what, people that don't drain them, I've seen 6 inches of sediment in the bottom of these tanks, and that will hasten the life of these water heaters dramatically. The reason I know this, I've actually cut the tanks open to see how much sediment's in the bottom. And another thing, when you go to drain these units, sometimes the sediment can be so thick it won't even come out of the drain port on the bottom of the water heater. So you have to run pressurized water through there. So the process would be you shut the electrical off, and then you hook the water hose up to it, and you run pressurized city water through the line until it runs free. But in some cases, I've seen that doesn't even work. And when it comes to that point, you're pretty much SOL. It's probably time for a new unit.
What do people need to know with regard to water softener systems? I myself also being on a well and septic system. When I bought my home, I spent like $8,000 to $10,000 on this complicated factory back behind my home and everything. Then I called Culligan and they're like, "Oh, you should just rented a system from us for just a monthly fee." Tell me a little bit about that.
Well, most wells have probably at least 2 types of iron in there, which somehow have to be oxidized. And the best way that I know how to do that is with chlorine bleach. And I have a chlorinated system, but there are many other systems out there. And this consists of, you have a tank that holds, let's say, 120 gallons of water, and you have a chlorine pump, and you have a chlorine chemical tank, which actually every so often it'll pump chlorine into that tank, which oxidizes the iron, which falls to the bottom of the tank, and the clean water is drawn from the top in through, let's say, your carbon filter to get most of the chlorine bleach out. Then it goes through the water softener. Then it goes into the house, and you'll have some of the cleanest water that you can possibly have. Now, I also have a reverse osmosis underneath my kitchen sink, which the RO units will give you the next purest water to steam distilled, which is pure H2O. And they have other systems as well. Some of them are very costly.
It sounds like the same system I have. I have this complicated system where the water comes in, goes through a filter, then it hits the chlorinator, and then it goes through these 2 other big tanks, and then it gets hit with a permanganate, potassium permanganate system. Then it comes in, and I have also a reverse osmosis system inside the home. So I always tell people I've got like a bottled water quality factory going through my home.
Well, if you paid $8,000 for that, I could have put it in for $5,000.
Yeah.
That's right.
Well, too bad I didn't know you, back then. Everything. What about the Culligan systems, things like that? I mean, where you can just rent them and stuff. I mean, are those advisable? Are they, are those all those components in one? Or are they kind of just like a certain, just a couple different parts of the entire system that I have?
No, Culligans are fine. It's a matter of your budget. Find out what they're going to charge you. I mean, none of this stuff's cheap. I'd rather go with a system that you purchase, but some people rather have somebody come every month and service their unit, which is good too. And as long as you keep up with your systems, add the chlorine bleach, you add the salt to it, for example, these systems will last for years and years and years, and you will get...
Yeah, that's the biggest challenge I have is just keeping up with the maintenance. I always forget to put the salt in. I go outside and it's out of salt and everything. So, yeah, just keeping up with the maintenance and everything is the challenging part for me and everything. But, anyways, let's go. Got about a minute left. Let's put Jim back over here real quick and give a quick plug for the company and how people can get in touch with you.
Okay, well, Charlie, again, thanks for getting up real early this morning, coming over here and telling your story. Definitely
an entertaining character. I enjoyed talk with him and stuff.
And for us, Yeager Flooring, we're located at 2310 Success Drive in Odessa. That's up off of Route 54, 2 miles west of Gun Highway. Mention that you heard us on the radio show today, and we will send you some Don't Gamble with Your Floor chips worth $100. We'll send you a handful of those. Anybody looking to do any type of work, whether it be remodel, kitchen, bath, or floors, we'd like to know that you heard us here today on the show.
All right, and also they can learn more at the site Yeager Flooring.
Yeager Flooring, yep.
And don't let the site confuse you. You're also in the remodeling and general contracting, so you do more than just flooring too. Yeah. Jim, thank you very much for coming in, as well as Charlie. A great interview, and thank you both again for the service to our country as Marines and everything. So,
hoorah.
If you're just tuning in, you've been listening to That Business Show with Jamie Meloni, and again, you'll find me here weekdays at 8 a.m. and learn more about the show over at TampaBayRadio.com. Hope everybody has a great day, and I'll see you in here tomorrow again at 8 a.m. on That Business Show with Jamie Meloni.